Driverly.com Unlimited Drama Series.
Chapter 1. The Party. Apparently, I'm hosting my own execution tonight. At least the guac's good. I'm Ethan Weller, 39 years old, and I'm watching my wife Julia celebrate her promotion by systematically destroying what's left of my dignity. She's holding court in our living room, surrounded by her HR department cronies, while I play bartender at my own humiliation. "Ethan, we need more ice," Julia calls out, not bothering to look at me. She's wearing that black dress I bought her for our anniversary, the one she said made her feel powerful. Now I know why. I head to the kitchen where her friends Nina and Maya are whispering like teenage conspirators. They don't notice me approaching. "I still can't believe she's actually going through with it," Nina says, stirring her martini with a manicured finger. "Carter's been waiting months for this," Maya replies. "Ever since the Christmas party, when they—" "Ladies," I interrupt, forcing a smile. "More drinks?" They exchange guilty looks. Maya recovers first. "Oh, Ethan, we were just talking about Julia's amazing promotion. You must be so proud." "Thrilled," I say, grabbing ice from the freezer. Nothing makes a husband happier than watching his wife climb the corporate ladder with her boss. The silence stretches uncomfortably. Nina suddenly finds her phone fascinating. Back in the living room, I spot Carter Drake for the first time tonight. He's everything I'm not. 6'2", gym sculpted, driving a Porsche that costs more than my annual salary. He's standing too close to Julia, his hand resting on the small of her back like he owns her. Maybe he does. "Ethan!" Carter's voice booms across the room. "Great party, man. You really know how to celebrate your wife's success." There's something in his tone, a smugness that makes my jaw clench. Just trying to keep up with her achievements. Julia finally looks at me, and there's ice in her eyes. "Carter was just telling me about the new project we'll be working on together." Very hands-on. The room goes quiet. Even Arjun, Julia's party animal coworker, stops mid-laugh. "Sounds intimate," I say. "It will be," Carter grins. "Julia and I work very well together. We have excellent chemistry." My neighbor, Mrs. Petrelli, who somehow always gets invited to these things, is watching this exchange like it's her favorite soap opera. Her eyes are bright with anticipation. The evening deteriorates from there. I catch fragments of conversations, jokes about my performance in various areas of life, speculation about Julia's new opportunities, and barely concealed laughter when I trip over someone's purse. By 10 o'clock, I'm done pretending. Julia corners me in the kitchen, her face flushed with wine and anger. "You're embarrassing me," she hisses. "I'm embarrassing you?" I laugh, but there's no humor in it. "Julia, half your friends are placing bets on when you'll file for divorce. Maybe they know something you don't? Like the fact that you've been sleeping with Carter for 3 months. Her face goes white, then red. For a moment, I think she might deny it. Instead, she does something worse. She starts screaming. "You want to know the truth, Ethan? Fine. You're a worthless loser. You've always been a worthless loser. I'm tired of pretending otherwise." Every conversation in the apartment stops. 20 people are now staring at us through the kitchen doorway. Carter's smirking. Maya looks horrified. Nina's already recording with her phone. I feel something break inside me. Not my heart, but something deeper. The part of me that's been making excuses for her behavior. That's been accepting less than I deserve. "You know what, Julia?" I say, my voice deadly calm. "You're absolutely right." I untie my apron and drop it on the floor. I am a loser. I've been losing for years. Losing respect, losing dignity, losing myself in this marriage. I walk toward the living room, and the crowd parts like I'm radioactive. "But here's the thing about being a loser," I continue, addressing the room. "Eventually, you get tired of losing." I grab my jacket from the closet. "Thanks for coming, everyone. Sorry to cut the party short, but I have some losing to catch up on." As I reach the door, I hear Maya whisper to Julia, "You'll regret this. He's not as weak as you think." I pause, hand on the doorknob, and smile. "No," I say, loud enough for everyone to hear, but she's about to find out exactly how strong I am. Chapter 2. The Quiet Storm. My new apartment is a studio in a building that's seen better decades, but it's mine. No shared mortgage, no joint bank accounts, no pretending everything's fine when it's been broken for years. I'm sitting on my secondhand couch, laptop open, when Maya calls. Ethan, it's Maya. We need to talk. About what? How my wife's been screwing her boss? Or how all of you knew and said nothing? Both, she says quietly. Can I come over? An hour later, Maya's sitting across from me, looking genuinely uncomfortable. I should have told you sooner. Why didn't you? Because Julia's my friend, was my friend. She sighs. But what she did at the party, that was cruel, even for her. So now you want to ease your conscience? No. Now I want to help you. Maya tells me everything. Carter's not just cheating on his wife. He's a control freak who's been manipulating Julia's career for months. The promotion isn't based on merit. It's payment for services rendered. Worse, everyone at their company knows about it. His wife's getting suspicious, Maya adds. Vanessa Drake isn't stupid. She's been asking questions. After Maya leaves, I make 2 phone calls. The first is to a private investigator named Sam Lister. The second is to the gym where Carter works out every morning. I don't want divorce dirt, I tell Sam when we meet the next day. I want leverage. Sam's a former cop with gray hair and sharp eyes. What kind of leverage? The kind that makes him wish he'd kept his hands to himself. Legal leverage? Completely legal. I'm not looking to break laws, just spirits. The gym encounter happens 3 days later. I time it perfectly, arriving just as Carter finishes his workout. He's at the juice bar, flexing for his reflection, when I walk up. Carter? Fancy meeting you here? He turns, surprised. Ethan, didn't know you worked out. I'm full of surprises. Hey, they've got a boxing ring here. Want to spar? Work out some tension? Carter's smile falters. I don't really box. No? You seem like the type who likes throwing his weight around. A small crowd's gathering. Carter's trapped between looking weak and risking actual physical confrontation. Maybe another time, he says. Sure, I reply loudly. Though I guess some people prefer to do their fighting when the other guy can't hit back. I leave him standing there, face red, while several gym members chuckle. Sam's investigation moves quickly. Carter's sloppy. He uses his corporate credit card for hotel rooms, leaves paper trails, and parks his Porsche in the same spot every time he meets Julia. He's at the Riverside Motel right now, Sam tells me over the phone. Room 237. Is Julia with him? Arrived 20 minutes ago. Perfect. Is his wife still following that fitness influencer on Instagram? Yeah, why? Because she posts her location constantly. And according to her latest story, she's at the coffee shop 2 blocks from the Riverside. I make an anonymous call to the motel's front desk, claiming I'm Carter's assistant and there's been a family emergency. Could they please knock on room 237 and ask Mr. Drake to call his wife immediately? Then, I call Vanessa Drake directly. Mrs. Drake, this is the concierge at the Riverside Motel. Your husband asked me to let you know he's in room 237 if you need to reach him urgently. I'm sorry, what? My husband's supposed to be at a client meeting. Oh, perhaps I misunderstood. Room 237, ma'am. I'm parked across the street when Vanessa Drake's BMW pulls into the motel lot. She's out of her car and marching toward the building when Carter emerges from room 237, hastily dressed Julia behind him. The confrontation is spectacular. Vanessa's voice carries across the parking lot as she screams at both of them. Other guests come out to watch. Someone's definitely recording. Carter tries to calm his wife down, but Julia, never one to back down from a fight, starts yelling back. It escalates quickly, ending with Vanessa slapping Julia and threatening to destroy both of you. I drive away, smiling. Chapter 3. The Public Unraveling. Mrs. Petrelli calls me the next morning. Ethan... Dear, I hope you don't mind me reaching out. I heard about the troubles with Julia. Word travels fast. Oh, honey, it's all over the building. Nina posted that video from your party on social media. Everyone's talking about it. I'd forgotten about Nina's phone recording Julia's meltdown. What video? The one where Julia calls you a loser and you walk out? It's got thousands of views already. People are calling it the loser's last stand. Great, I'm viral. But Mrs. Petrelli's not done. I also heard from my friend Margaret, she works at that fancy restaurant downtown, that there was quite a scene there yesterday. Something about Julia and her boss and his wife? Is that so? Margaret said it was better than reality TV. The wife threw a whole glass of wine at them. Red wine, all over Julia's white blouse. I hadn't planned on the restaurant confrontation, but Carter and Julia apparently decided to celebrate their newfound freedom with a public lunch. Vanessa Drake, armed with a private investigator's photos, had other ideas. Mrs. Petrelli, you didn't hear this from me, but I think Julia's going to need a new place to live soon. Oh my. And if anyone asks, I'm doing just fine. The building's gossip network is more efficient than the internet. By evening, everyone knows Julia's been cheating, Carter's getting divorced, and I'm the wronged husband who walked away with his dignity intact. My phone buzzes with a text from Nina. Can we talk? We meet at a coffee shop near her office. Nina's nervous, fidgeting with her cup. I owe you an apology, she starts. For knowing about the affair or for posting that video? Both. But Ethan, you should know, there's more. More what? Julia's been talking to HR about you. She's claiming you've been harassing her, trying to sabotage her career. My blood runs cold. That's insane. I know, but she's desperate. Carter's wife is threatening to sue the company for creating a hostile work environment that enabled the affair. Julia thinks if she can make you look like the bad guy, it'll take heat off her. What kind of harassment is she claiming? Stalking, threatening phone calls. She even suggested you might be dangerous. I stare at Nina. You know that's not true. I know. That's why I'm here. I've been documenting everything. Her real behavior, the timeline of her affair, the lies she's been telling. Nina pulls out her phone. I've got texts, emails, voice messages, enough to prove she's lying. Why would you do that? Because what she did to you was wrong, and because I'm tired of watching her destroy people to save herself. That evening, Carter makes his first mistake. He follows me home. I notice the Porsche in my rearview mirror about 6 blocks from my apartment. He's not subtle, staying 2 car lengths back, making the same turns. When I pull into my building's parking garage, he follows. I park and wait. Carter gets out of his car, walks over to mine. He's trying to look intimidating, but there's something desperate in his eyes. We need to talk, he says when I roll down my window. About what? About you backing off. Julia's been through enough. I get out of my car slowly. Julia's been through enough? That's interesting, coming from the guy who destroyed her marriage. You destroyed your own marriage by being a pathetic loser. There's that word again. Loser. I smile. You know, Carter, I used to think that was the worst thing you could call someone. But I've learned something recently. What's that? Sometimes the real losers are the ones who think they're winning. Carter steps closer, trying to use his height advantage to intimidate me. Stay away from Julia. Stop following us. Stop causing problems, or what? He raises his fist, and I see red. But instead of backing down, I do something unexpected. I laugh. Go ahead, Carter. Hit me. Right here in my building's parking garage, with security cameras recording everything. Give me another reason to destroy you. He swings anyway. I duck, and Carter's fist connects with the concrete pillar behind me. The sound of breaking bones echoes through the garage. Carter screams, clutching his hand. You son of a bitch! Guess you'll be signing checks left-handed for a while, I say, walking toward the elevator. Oh, and Carter? Next time you want to threaten someone, maybe don't do it on camera. I point to the security camera mounted above us, its red light blinking steadily. Chapter 4. The Legal Slugfest. Julia's lawyer calls me a week later. Richard Steinberg sounds exactly like what he is, an expensive divorce attorney who specializes in making men miserable. Mr. Weller, my client would like to discuss an amicable resolution to your marital difficulties. Amicable? That's rich, considering she publicly called me a worthless loser and tried to frame me for harassment. Those were emotional outbursts. Julia regrets. Julia regrets getting caught. There's a difference. We meet at Steinberg's office downtown. It's all mahogany and intimidation, designed to make regular people feel small. Julia's there with her lawyer, looking composed in a navy suit that probably costs more than my rent. Ethan, she says like we're old friends. You look good. I feel good. Amazing what happens when you stop living with a cheater. Steinberg clears his throat. My client is prepared to be generous. She's willing to let you keep the apartment if you agree not to contest the divorce or seek alimony. I almost laugh. Let me keep the apartment? The apartment I've been paying the mortgage on for 5 years? Well, technically, it's marital property. Technically, your client committed adultery, which affects asset distribution in this state. My lawyer, David Park, slides a folder across the table.
I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing.
Drunk? I have everything on video.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
We have documentation of Mrs. Weller's affair, including hotel receipts charged to her corporate card, text messages, and witness statements. Julia's face goes pale. Those are private. Nothing's private once you file for divorce, David says calmly, especially when you try to claim harassment that never happened. The negotiation goes downhill from there. Julia wants half of everything, plus alimony, plus the apartment. I counter with nothing. She gets nothing except her clothes and whatever dignity she has left. This is ridiculous, Julia finally explodes. I'm not walking away empty-handed. You should have thought about that before you decided to sleep with your boss, I reply. After they leave, David looks pleased. She's got no leverage. The adultery, the false harassment claims, the public humiliation. Any judge will see right through her. What about Carter? What about him? He's got his own problems. His wife's divorce attorney is going after him for everything. Apparently, Mrs. Drake hired a forensic accountant. They found some interesting discrepancies in his expense reports. That night, Julia tries to move back into our apartment. I'm ready for her. I changed the locks 2 days ago and had the building management send her official notice that she's no longer authorized to be there. When she shows up with the locksmith, Mrs. Petrelli is waiting with a camera. You can't keep me out of my own home, Julia shouts at the building manager. Ma'am, according to the restraining order filed this morning, Mr. Weller has exclusive use of the apartment pending the divorce proceedings. What restraining order? David had filed it based on Julia's harassment allegations. If she was going to claim I was dangerous, the court would naturally want to protect her by keeping us apart. The irony is beautiful. Julia tries to force her way past the manager, but Mrs. Petrelli has already called the police. They arrive just as Julia is screaming about her rights and demanding entry. Ma'am, you need to calm down, the officer says. This is my apartment. My husband is trying to steal my home. According to this court order, you're not supposed to be here. The whole scene is recorded by 3 different neighbors. Julia being escorted away by police, screaming about injustice, while I watch from the window. It's almost sad. Almost. Carter's problems multiply daily. His wife's divorce attorney is vicious, going after his assets, his reputation, and his job. The company's HR department launches an investigation into his relationship with Julia, and suddenly, everyone remembers all the inappropriate comments, the favoritism, the hostile work environment he created. Sam calls me with updates. Carter's been suspended pending investigation. His wife got a temporary restraining order. And someone vandalized his car. Vandalized how? Spray-painted cheater on the side. Filled the interior with stink bombs. I try to sound surprised. That's terrible. Also, his gym membership was revoked. Apparently, there were complaints about his behavior. The gym thing was easy. A few conversations with other members about Carter's aggressive attitude, his tendency to hog equipment, and his general douchebaggery. When the manager reviewed the security footage of our confrontation, Carter threatening me, then punching a concrete pillar, it was an easy decision. Julia calls me that night, crying. Ethan, please, this has gone too far. Has it? I made mistakes, okay? I'm sorry, but this is destroying my life. Your life? Julia, you stood in front of 20 people and called me a worthless loser. You tried to frame me for harassment. You cheated on me for months while I supported your career. I know. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We're past counseling. We're past fixing. We're at the part where you face consequences. She's quiet for a long moment. What do you want from me? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you anymore. Chapter 5. The Social Bloodbath. The HR investigation concludes 3 weeks later. Carter's fired for violating company policy, creating a hostile work environment, and misusing corporate resources. Julia's demoted and transferred to a different department, essentially corporate exile. Meanwhile, my own career takes an unexpected turn. My boss calls me into his office on a Tuesday morning. Ethan, I've been watching how you've handled this difficult situation in your personal life. Very professional, very dignified. Thank you, sir. I'm promoting you to senior project manager. You'll be heading up the new client services division. The promotion comes with a 40% raise and an office with a view. When I tell my team, they cheer. Even my former subordinates seem genuinely happy for me. You deserve this, my colleague Mike says, after everything you've been through. Word spreads quickly. By lunch, everyone knows about my promotion. By evening, it's reached Julia. She shows up at the upscale bar where my team's celebrating, looking haggard and desperate. She's lost weight, and not in a good way. Her expensive clothes can't hide the fact that she's falling apart. Congratulations, she says, sliding into the booth across from me. Julia, what are you doing here? I heard about your promotion. I wanted to say I'm happy for you. My teammates exchange uncomfortable glances. Mike starts to get up, but I wave him back down. That's very kind of you to say. I also wanted to apologize, publicly. Her voice gets louder, drawing attention from nearby tables. I treated you badly. I said things that weren't true. I hurt you. Yes, you did. I was confused, scared about turning 40, feeling trapped. Julia, stop. No, let me finish. I made terrible choices. I threw away the best thing in my life for someone who didn't even care about me. The bar's getting quiet. People are staring. Julia's voice is rising, becoming shrill. Carter dumped me the minute things got complicated. He said I was too much drama. Can you believe that? After everything I sacrificed for him, I can believe it. I lost my job, my friends, my home. I lost everything. She's crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. And for what? For some guy who won't even return my calls? I feel my teammates' eyes on me, waiting to see how I'll respond. The old Ethan might have felt sorry for her, might have offered comfort. But I'm not the old Ethan anymore. Julia, I say quietly, you didn't lose everything. You threw it away. Please, Ethan, I know I don't deserve it, but can we try again? Can we? No. The word hangs in the air like a blade. I'm not your safety net anymore. I'm not your backup plan. I'm not your anything. Julia's face crumples. You're really going to let me lose everything? You already lost everything. I'm just refusing to help you find it again. She stumbles out of the bar, still crying. My teammates sit in stunned silence for a moment. Damn, Ethan, Mike finally says. That was brutal. That was necessary. The next morning, Sam calls with news about Carter. He's broke. The divorce settlement wiped him out. He's living in a studio apartment and driving a 10-year-old Honda. What about his job prospects? Not good. Word's gotten around about why he was fired. No reputable company wants to touch him. And Julia. Her parents cut her off financially after they found out about the affair. She's living with her sister in New Jersey, working at a call center. I should feel satisfied, but mostly I just feel empty. Not sad, empty like a weight I'd been carrying for years has finally been lifted. That evening, I'm working late in my new office when security calls. Mr. Weller, there's a Carter Drake here to see you. Should I send him up? I consider it. Actually, I'll come down. Carter's waiting in the lobby, and he looks terrible. His expensive suits are gone, replaced by off-the-rack clothes that don't fit right. His gym-sculpted physique is already softening. Ethan, thanks for seeing me. What do you want, Carter? I wanted to apologize for everything. I study his face. Are you apologizing because you're sorry, or because you're hoping I'll help you somehow? His silence is answer enough. Here's the thing, Carter. I don't accept your apology. You're not sorry you hurt me. You're sorry you got caught. You're not sorry you destroyed my marriage. You're sorry it didn't work out better for you. That's not. You called me a pathetic loser, remember? Well, this pathetic loser is now making more money than you ever did, living in a better apartment than you can afford, and sleeping peacefully every night. I start walking toward the elevator. While you're living in a studio apartment, driving a beater car, and wondering how you went from the top of the world to rock bottom in 6 months, the elevator doors open. So no, Carter, I don't accept your apology. But I do accept your surrender. Chapter 6. The Ultimate Showdown. 3 months later, I'm living in a penthouse apartment downtown. The promotion led to another promotion, and suddenly, I'm making more money than Julia and Carter ever dreamed of. Success, it turns out, is the best revenge. I'm coming home from dinner with friends when I notice the Honda following me. Carter's gotten bolder or more desperate. He follows me into the parking garage, parks, and gets out of his car. We need to talk, he says. No, we don't. You've destroyed my life. You cost me my job, my wife, my home. I didn't cost you anything. You threw it all away for an affair with a married woman. You orchestrated everything. The restaurant scene, the hotel confrontation, getting me fired. I gave people information. They made their own choices about what to do with it. Carter's face is red with rage. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you won? I know I won. He lunges at me, but he's out of shape now, slow. I sidestep easily and he crashes into a concrete pillar. Again. This time, though, I'm ready. I grab a can of spray paint from my car. I've been touching up some scratches, and before Carter can recover, I douse him with bright red paint. What the hell? Scarlet letter, I explain, continuing to spray. Seems appropriate. Carter tries to grab the can, but he's slippery now, covered in paint. He slips and falls, landing hard on the concrete. You're insane, he screams. No, I'm thorough. I pop his trunk and help him inside. He's too stunned and slippery to fight effectively. This is kidnapping. This is a citizen's arrest. You attacked me. I have it on security camera. I close the trunk and call building security. Hi, this is Ethan Weller in the parking garage. I've detained someone who assaulted me. Could you call the police and bring the footage from camera 7? While we wait, I can hear Carter screaming and pounding from inside his trunk. Other residents start gathering, drawn by the noise. Someone's recording with their phone. Is that Carter Drake? Asks Mrs. Henderson from 12B. The guy who was sleeping with his employee? The one whose wife took him for everything? The police arrive just as Julia shows up. She looks even worse than before. Thin, haggard, desperate. She's heard about the commotion and came running. Ethan, what did you do? I defended myself against your ex-boyfriend. We're not... She stops, realizing how pathetic she sounds. The police release Carter from his trunk. He's covered in red paint, humiliated, and facing assault charges. The security footage clearly shows him attacking me first. Sir, you're under arrest, the officer says, cuffing Carter. As they lead him away, Julia tries one last desperate play. This is all your fault, she screams at me. You destroyed us. You ruined our lives. The crowd of residents turns to stare at her. These are successful people. Professionals who've heard the whole sordid story through building gossip. Ma'am, you need to leave, the security guard says. You're not a resident here. I used to be married to him. I have rights. You have the right to leave voluntarily or be escorted out by police. Julia looks around at the crowd, at the phones recording her meltdown, at the faces full of judgment and disgust. She realizes, finally, that she has no allies left, no one to blame but herself. Fine, she says, backing toward the exit, but this isn't over. Yes, it is, I reply calmly. It's been over for months. You just haven't accepted it yet. She turns and runs toward the street, sobbing. The crowd disperses slowly, buzzing with excitement. Mrs. Henderson pats my arm sympathetically. You handled that very well, dear. Thank you. Though I have to ask, was the paint really necessary? I smile, looking at the red splotches still decorating the garage floor. Absolutely. The next morning, videos of Carter's trunk imprisonment and Julia's final meltdown are trending on social media. Trunkgate becomes a minor internet sensation, with Carter as the villain and me as the unlikely hero. My phone rings. It's Sam Lister. Saw the news. Congratulations. For what? For winning. Completely and utterly. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like closure. Same thing sometimes. She's right. Carter's facing assault charges and a restraining order. Julia's moved back to New Jersey permanently, blocked from all social media by her former friends. Their affair, which seems so powerful and important to them, has been reduced to a cautionary tale about hubris and bad decisions. Meanwhile, I'm thriving. New job, new apartment, new life. I'm dating a wonderful woman named Sarah who thinks my story is inspiring rather than pathetic. I have friends who respect me, colleagues who value my work, and a future that belongs entirely to me. That evening, I'm standing on my balcony looking out over the city when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you can forgive me someday. Jay. I stare at the message for a long moment, then delete it without responding. Some apologies come too late. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. But some endings, I've learned, are actually beginnings. I pour myself a glass of wine, toast the city lights, and smile. Turns out I was never her loser after all. She was mine.